102nd District of Lebanon County currently has House Resolution 836 on the board.
We
Please
don't social
welcome
distance anymore. It's
Russ
over.
Diamond.
Bring it in. Come on, let's go.
Looters don't get handcuffs for spending summer rioting.
This is my new song.
Democrats been scheming for judges gerrymandering.
That's not the answer.
Constitutional amendments to put a petty wolfman down. We gotta beat that Shapiro and elect some new heroes to turn the ship around. We are free to make things right. We are free to get through the darkest night. We are free to start anew, and it all begins with me talking to you.
We will not burn down buildings. We will not loot. We will be civilly disobedient.
Poor old Mr. Biden, bumbling through senility. Chance of let's go Brandon at every football game he sees. Elected by the mail-in vote and a million other cheats to bring the scourge of inflation that will ruin this nation. We really miss me tweets, but we are free to make things right. We are free to get through the darkest night. We are free to start anew, and it all begins with me talking to you.
Because the states created the union, and only the states can stop the federal government from intruding in your lives.
Over at the schoolhouse, they're teaching Marxist CRT. Better watch for mandates now, 'cause they're barging in from Washington to force a new vaccine. But we are free to make things right. Yeah, we are free to get through the darkest night. We are free to start anew. Yeah, we are free. It all comes down to you. We are free to make things right. Yeah, we are free to get through the darkest night. We are free to start anew, and it's all so plain to see just the way that things should be, and it all begins with me talking to you.
I'm State Representative Russ Diamond, and I believe that every one of you is essential, and that every one of your businesses and jobs is life-sustaining. Hey, I'm State Representative Russ Diamond from the 102nd District in Lebanon County, the only county that stood up to Tom Wolf. The only one. I'm so proud to be in Lebanon County, and of course then Tom Wolf penalized us by violating the law and withholding our federal COVID funds. Boo! I'm so tired of Tom Wolf. You know what? I was tired of Tom Wolf early on. Folks, it took 462 days to end Tom Wolf's disaster emergency. We had multiple legislative debates. We had a Supreme Court showdown. We had 2 constitutional amendments. And then finally we terminated the disaster emergency. The 462 days. But folks, I was there on day 11. Day 11, March 17th, 2020, with a termination resolution the day after he closed down bars and restaurants. Why? Because I knew exactly what he was going to do. And then in May, I was the only legislator to stand up against the BS mask mandates. And of course, the left field day with me. They called me a mass murderer. They called me a serial killer. They said I was dangerous. They said I was crazy. They said I was radical. But guess what? I was right. And then in July of 2020, I started talking about the long-term effects of these mask mandates, social distancing, school closings on our children. The developmental problems, the academic problems that would develop if this went on for a long time. And people called me crazy. They called me a lunatic. But I was right. And then in August 2020, before there was even a COVID-19 vaccine available, I introduced a bill to protect Pennsylvanians from vaccine mandates. And now I have a constitutional amendment to guarantee your medical freedom and to guarantee that you will not be discriminated against in Pennsylvania because you choose to exercise your medical freedom. And they called me crazy. They called me dangerous. They called me a disease or a super spreader. And you know what? I was right. I was right all along, folks. I called BS on this mainstream narrative long before anybody else in Harrisburg was willing to even take a chance on doing it. Folks, I'm not just a state representative, I'm also running for lieutenant governor, and I want to tell you, we need a lieutenant governor in Pennsylvania who's not afraid to start a parade, who's not just willing to jump into any parade that's marching by for a little press attention. I stood out there when it was not cool to do it. I opposed mask mandates before it was cool. I opposed vaccine mandates before it was cool. I opposed lockdowns before it was cool. And folks, here we are. Hey, you know it is now the 2-year anniversary of 2 weeks to stop the spread, right? You know that, right? Well, folks, I called BS early. I was the only one to call BS early on all this garbage. And guess what? I was right. Here you are, standing here, no masks in sight. You're not socially distanced anymore. And guess what? You are not dead. That's awesome. But we are free. Just like the song says, we are free to make things right. We are free to get through the darkest night. We are free. We are free. We are free. We are free. To start anew. And it all begins with me talking to you, and then you in turn going home and talking to your family, your friends, your neighbors. Spread the word. Freedom is here in Pennsylvania, and I want to tell you what I'm working on right now in the legislature. These ESG scores. I am working on legislation that will prohibit the use of ESG scores to make you pay more interest rates on your loans because they are moving fastly towards the Chinese social credit system, where if you associate with conservatives, you're not going to be good enough to go into a restaurant or do anything else. We're going to stop that in Pennsylvania because my highest duty as a state representative is protecting your freedoms at all costs. I don't care if it's the federal government coming after it, or it's your bank coming after it, or your investment firm. I'm going to stop them, and we are going to protect you. And guess what? I am right. They will call me crazy. They will call me a lunatic, but I am right about these things, folks, because that is our highest duty in government, to protect your rights, not to protect the rights of corporations, not to protect the rights of government, to protect the individual rights. Folks, I'm Russ Diamond. I'm proudly from Lebanon County. I am running to be the next Republican lieutenant governor in Pennsylvania. Helen has my petitions. She's running around out here. I'll be hanging around with my petitions. I would sure appreciate your signature. I need 1,000 signatures to get on the ballot on May 17th. But unlike other people who are in this race, I don't have to promise you what I might do. You already know what I've done, and the best indicator of what I'm going to do in the future is what I've already done in the past. I've stood for you. I will continue to stand for you, and let's make Pennsylvania great again. God bless.